Hello and welcome to Gamer Chat. Today we will be reviewing EA's popular title, Dragon Age 2. Okay, so let's talk about the storyline in Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2 is set not too long after Dragon Age Origins, and the storylines, they do intertwine a little. However, you will not have to play Dragon Age Origins to be able to keep up with the story in Dragon Age 2. Now, for everyone that remembered Dragon Age 1, I'm sure you'll remember how epic the story was in some parts, and if you didn't play through it, you're just going to have to take my word for it. If you're like me and you enjoy Dragon Age Origins for the epic parts of the story, I am afraid to say you are going to be disappointed with Dragon Age 2. Apart from a few little cool twists in the story in Dragon Age 2, the calibre of the story does not compare anywhere near to Dragon Age Origins. To me, the storyline in Dragon Age 2 just felt a little pointless, as a lot of the story you play through isn't really relevant to the main storyline in the end, and I personally would say you could probably cut down the storyline to about 2 hours and you would still know what is going on. So, to conclude, Dragon Age 2 has a long story, but most of what you play is completely irrelevant. And it is safe to say the storyline in Dragon Age 2 does not live up to its predecessor.
Shut up.
Now, one thing I'm sure we can all remember from Dragon Age Origins is the combat system being unreliable and quite slow. Well, guess what? They have fixed it for Dragon Age 2. The combat in Dragon Age 2 isn't flawless, but in my opinion it's damn close. Now, while they did fix the buggy gameplay, and although it does work for the majority of the game, you will still get the occasional little bug, but my main issue with the combat system is the speed. Okay, so it's nice to have it sped up since Dragon Age Origins, but they did take it a bit too far. The character I used to play through in Dragon Age 2 was using a two-handed weapon, and more often than not he will be swinging his great big hefty axe faster than my eyes could keep up with him. Okay, so let's talk about the difficulty in Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2 isn't really a difficult game to play through, as long as you know what you are doing when it comes to role-playing games, or you have a general knowledge of RPGs. I never really struggled at all with Dragon Age, not even with the final boss. The only point I struggled with was a moment on the way to the boss where you get swarmed by enemies. It made it a little difficult, but apart from that I just sailed through the game. One thing you have to kind of bite the bullet with in Dragon Age 2 is the loading times. While they aren't awfully slow, they aren't exactly the quickest I've ever seen. But you kind of expect it from a game this size, so like I said, you don't really mind, apart from when you have to go to several different areas in a short amount of time. It can get very irritating. One of the things that did disappoint me most about Dragon Age 2 was the customisation. It does seem like they've gone slightly backwards rather than forwards. For example, you can no longer choose what race you want to be, and you can no longer choose your background. You can still customise the way your character looks, but you can no longer change the armour on any of your party members, you can only change their weapons. Now, another point I really feel like I should mention with this game, and it was probably one of my biggest letdowns, is that of the exploration. Personally, when playing a new role-playing game, I love to go and explore in new cities and new areas, and if you're the same as me, Dragon Age 2 is definitely not the game for you. In Dragon Age 2, you get to go to one city and one city only. There are no other towns, and you'll probably spend 95% of your time in the city, with the odd 1 or 2 quests where you will leave and you'll have to go to a close by coast or mountain. This wouldn't have bothered me so much if the city was large enough to have lots of new areas to explore, but this isn't the case, as you will find a lot of enemies use the same hideout. In regards to the controls in Dragon Age 2, they are still very simple to use and they work. There really is no issue here. In regards to the visuals in Dragon Age 2, there has definitely been an improvement, and the game as a whole does look quite nice. My only real issue in regards to the visuals is the model acting. Just like in Dragon Age Origins, the model acting is quite poor, and although it has been improved ever so slightly in Dragon Age 2, the facial expressions and the body expressions of characters are still a letdown. There is no sign of emotion sometimes during scenes, and it is hard to tell whether a character is happy or angry. Like I said though, they have improved it slightly in Dragon Age 2, but compared to some other games, it just really isn't quite there yet. So, in conclusion, the visuals are an improvement from the first one with some stunning graphics, but it is still let down by the character acting. The audio in this game is very good. The background music works very well to set the scene, and all of the sounds within the game work very well. But once again, there is a slight downfall, and it seems to come to the acting. Now, unlike the first one, your character can actually speak now, but it really is not a satisfying experience. While the audio acting is still an improvement on the first one in the series, once again it's still not quite there. During the majority of conversations in the game, you normally can give 3 typical responses: an upbeat and happy response, a humorous response, and an angry and snappy response. Now, there were points in the game where I was having a real in-depth conversation with another character and he'd choose a nice upbeat response or even a humorous response, and I could not tell whether the character was using these expressions as he just sounded really angry. There was a point in the game when I was telling another character that I loved them, and I thought my character was about to leap across the table and stab them, as it was said with that much hatred. In conclusion, the sounds in the game are nice, but they are still let down by very poor audio acting. In conclusion, I would say Dragon Age 2 is an improvement in some areas over Dragon Age Origins, although it does seem like in other areas of the game they did take a step in the wrong direction. Having said that, I would say this game is a rent. Thanks for watching Gamer Chat. Please don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe, and check out our channel for more videos.